From today, we'll all be paying more for our energy. As the price cap rises by 13%, we speak to the family dreading the winter bills. As the full horror of the Venezuelan quake becomes clear, we speak to people here desperately waiting for news of relatives. Also tonight, how Wales' game with Fiji this weekend was thrown into doubt earlier after a row between the union and the players. And small is beautiful. We visit the tiny cinema that's hoping one of Hollywood's biggest stars will give it a boost. Hello, good evening. Winter may feel a long way off, but there are warnings tonight that more of us could be facing fuel poverty amid soaring bills. Today, the UK government's energy price cap, that's the maximum price we pay for gas and electricity, rose by 13%, meaning the average yearly household bill will now be more than £1,800. One charity is warning of a looming public health emergency. But there are also reminders tonight about ways of saving money on energy. Kate Lewis reports.
Whilst Amy is at this hospice with her teenage son Cameron, she's able to put the worry of things such as bills to the back of her mind. But their stay comes to an end tomorrow, and it's back home and back to reality. She tells me the news her energy bills are increasing is a worry.
Having to pay my rent and my other bills, and with the increase of gas and electric, it's just not sustainable. There's only so much that I can afford to pay each month, and obviously with Cameron's equipment that I've got to be constantly on in the house, my electric bills just go through the roof, and I just can't afford it.
Amy pays around £100 each on her gas and electric each month. Despite receiving some help, she says the support is not enough.
You get the warm home discount, but that doesn't touch the sides, because they spread it between your gas and electric bill. But like I said, when you get lumbered with a quarterly bill that's about £400, it doesn't touch the sides. And I'm still got to find that money in between, as well as my direct debits on top then to clear my debt that's on my account.
Energy debt is already at record levels, and charities warn today's increase will push more households into fuel poverty and into debt they simply can't repay.
It's a very grave situation to be in. This is the consequence, actually, of energy prices having been so high for so long. You know, this is the 5th year, and it's a build-up of unrelenting pressure. And at the end of the day, energy is an essential service. It's about being able to keep warm and keep cool. It's about using the oven and being able to cook food and other everyday appliances like the washing machine.
With rising bills, many people are looking at ways to bring their costs down.
You've got to start with the smart meter. If you haven't got the smart meter, none of this will make any sense.
For the last few years, Gerald has been adapting his home to make it as comfortable as possible and reduce his bills. He tells me that within no time, his family were reaping the financial rewards.
It was within a month. The end of the month's bills indicated that we were on a winner. It was evident from the bottom line that there was a massive drop in our bills, just doing the solar panels and the battery.
Gerald then got rid of the gas altogether, installed an induction hob and more recently an air-to-air system which keeps his home warm in winter and cool in summer. While he isn't totally unaffected by today's increase, he says the impact he feels is significantly less.
I'm getting a 13% increase on maybe £100 during the midwinter. So I'm getting £13 increase. But if during the winter your bills are £350, that's a significant amount in comparison to what mine are going up. And this is the solar panels and the battery.
Gerald appreciates that not everyone can carry out such adaptations to their homes. And for people like Amy and the majority, today's price increase spells out more worry.
And Kate joins me in the studio now. Kate, worrying times for a lot of people, but there is help out there, isn't there?
Yes, there is, John, but I think people are feeling really helpless and really concerned about how on earth they're going to make ends meet as we head into the next few months and into the winter months too. What I would really stress is if people out there are struggling with their energy bills, already struggling or starting to struggle, reach out as quickly as possible to your supplier, because they do have to offer you some level of support. That could be support in terms of payment plans, or they look at other options. It's also worth checking, and maybe hard to believe, but even if you're not a British Gas customer, they do have a fund that people can apply for. That's known as the British Gas Energy Trust. So it's worth reaching out to them. Also, plenty of charities can give free independent advice, like National Energy Action that you heard from in my report there, and also Citizens Advice. So reach out. What I would say to finish off is, don't always assume that loyalty pays when it comes to your energy bills. We know that at this moment in time, there are prices out there are tariffs out there, fixed deals, which are cheaper than the current price cap. So have a look. It might be worth exploring whether switching could save you money.
OK, Kate, great advice. Thanks very much indeed. A body has been found in the search for a missing teenager in mid-Wales. It comes after reports an 18-year-old man had entered the River Wye on Tuesday evening. Emergency services were called after the teenager was seen entering the water at Glaisbury in Powys. His family has been informed and are being supported. A prolific drug dealer has been jailed for 2.5 years after being caught by a plainclothed police officer at a train station. 29-year-old Macaulay Hughes was stopped by officers at Cardiff Central Station, and officers noticed a strong smell of cannabis. The court heard how Hughes became abusive and was found to have more than 2,000 tablets along with cannabis on him. Next tonight, a man experiencing suicidal feelings has spoken out after being told he might have to wait for more than 2 years for support with his mental health. Aled Edwards faced the delays despite telling doctors he was desperate for support. It comes as a leading mental health charity revealed that 9,000 people in Wales are waiting for psychological therapies. Joanne Gallagher reports.
It's a bit of a weird one coming back here because obviously here's where it all started, but no, I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be here and enjoy my life.
5 years ago, Aled, a father of 4, wanted to end his life, but something about this spot in Bangor stopped him.
I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough as a father, not good enough as a husband, not good enough in everything I did, really. So I decided that I would eliminate the problem, which was me, and I came here and in October 2021 tried to take my own life, unfortunately. It was later diagnosed with postnatal depression, linked with childhood trauma.
He knew he needed help, but admits, like many men, he struggled to ask for it.
I felt like masking it and sucking it up and just getting on with it day to day.
It's been a long journey to peace and happiness for Aled. After getting initial help, it took him 2 years to find specialist care.
I was crying inside. There was that little boy who's still inside me. I later then had to go and find my own therapy, which I paid for privately.
Now, we have been in touch with the Welsh Government for a response, and in a statement they've told us that all local health boards across Wales offer specialist psychological services for a range of mental health issues. They are working to try and improve waiting times and to try and ensure people get seen on day. But Mind Cymru are pushing for mental health services to be treated in the same way as physical ailments.
We know people are waiting a long time, and while they're waiting for their mental health support, sometimes their physical health is deteriorating as well. So it's really important that mental health is part of that discussion around tackling waiting times.
So what's the organisation called that you run then?
It's How's Dad.
I was going to say, is it How's Dad? Yeah.
Aled has taken his own experiences to try and help other men, to persuade them to speak about their darkest moments and get help.
Well, news of those waits comes as Wales' biggest health board was told it had one more chance to make improvements or face more direct intervention from the Welsh Government. Betsy Cadwallader Health Board has spent 9 years in special measures. 2/3 of patients waiting for routine surgery in Wales live in the Health Board area. Well, Joanne is outside Ysbyty Glenclwyd in Bodolwyddan for us. Joanne, good to see you. Some strong words then from the Health Minister tonight.
Yeah, Mabon ap Gwynfor has said that the Betsy Cadwallader University Health Board is on notice. It's a word we've heard before. Plaid Cymru leader, First Minister Trîn ap Iorwerth, also said the same in the run-up to the Welsh election. What exactly does it mean for people who live here? Well, that's the golden question, isn't it? What the Health Minister has said today is that the Welsh Government, will be taking on a more direct role with Betsy Cadwallader. They will be looking to see what's happening here, basically a stock take, so to speak, and the findings will be reported back probably by October. They want to see improvements around cancer waiting times, around those ambulance handovers, around the amount of time people are waiting for planned care. The Welsh Health Minister today saying he's determined to see some change.
We expect to see improvement at a rapid pace. We know that they've got plans to put in action. We want them to see it and action those plans immediately. So that means when we look at the cancer times, the statistics around that in North Wales is around 52.5%. We want them to push that up to 55% and see that over a sustained period of months. So I would hope this side of Christmas we will see improvements in outcomes in North Wales.
And Joanne, just to recap, this follows many, many years of underperformance at the Health Board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been in special measures or receiving some kind of specialist care for the past 11 years. 700,000 people live in North Wales. This is Wales's largest health board. People here really want to see some change. They want to see a difference because at the end of the day, there are many people here wanting to use the services.
OK, Joanne Gallagher, thank you very much indeed. Still to come, why the smallest cinema is hoping for a boost from one of the biggest stars in movies.
And after flaming June, it's been a rather blustery start to July, hasn't it? But if you're missing the heat wave, hang on in there because temperatures look set to rise over the next few days. I'll see you in a few minutes.
All that still to come. But next we turn to events in Venezuela, where almost 2,000 people have been confirmed dead following earthquakes last week. With thousands more left homeless and without food and essential supplies, an appeal for help has been launched. And today the charities involved were at the Senedd to ask Wales to do its bit. Caddy Gwyn-Edwards reports.
These were the shocking scenes in northern Venezuela on the 24th of June. 2 devastating earthquakes, registering at 7.2 and 7.5 on the Richter scale, the largest the country's experienced since 1900. The death toll is climbing, with tens of thousands still missing. Just this morning, a 3-year-old boy was rescued from the rubble after being trapped for 6 days. He was one of over 50,000 people still believed to be missing. And for loved ones here in Wales, it's been a heartbreaking week. Miguel, who now lives in Cardiff, told me his mother lives in La Guaira, where the earthquakes have shattered her community.
I didn't manage to get through to my mum until 2 days later, for 48 hours, not knowing where my mum was and how she was. And that was heartbreaking.
She lost her home. Her friends and neighbours lost their lives.
Everyone that I know that is in Venezuela, they are sending help. They are going. They are doing everything that I wish I could be doing, which is from going through the rubble to help your neighbor find their daughters and their mums and their families, to finding water for them and finding food for them. My best friend's mum and daughter are still, and we know they're alive. I hope they're alive. I wish they're alive. I'm sending all my energy for them to protect them.
Today, an appeal's being launched at the Senedd to aid families like Miguel's who've been displaced by the disaster. Their hope is that any support given will be felt all the way over in Venezuela.
It's very much a situation that's still unfolding, and what is really clear is that we need to scale up the aid response. And so we're hoping that people will donate to the appeal to enable DC member charities who are out there on the ground already and responding to reach more people, help more people, and hopefully save more lives.
As Venezuela begins to rebuild, the rescue efforts continue. But for many, including Miguel's family, the road to recovery is only just beginning. Caddy Gwyn-Edwards, ITV News.
Wales rugby players have resolved a pay dispute which had cast Saturday's game against Fiji into doubt. Members of the squad had been due to face the press earlier but refused to attend because of the row. Well, our sports reporter Matt Southcombe is at the Vale Hotel for us this evening. Matt, some tense scenes, but the situation, I gather, has now been resolved.
Yeah, that's right, John. That tense atmosphere really started to emerge when players didn't turn up for the scheduled press conference today, and we learned that they were in meetings with the Welsh Rugby Union. And then it emerged that a dispute was taking place over contractual matters, including things like match fees ahead of this summer's Nations Championship matches. Now, many of the players left for their scheduled day off throughout the afternoon, but some senior players like Captain Dewi Lake and Jack Morgan and Josh Adams were still in a boardroom here at the team hotel discussing things with representatives from the Welsh Rugby Union. They emerged from that boardroom at around 5 p.m. to say that a deal had finally been struck and the players were satisfied. We understand that strike action was a possibility at one stage as players grew frustrated that these matters were still unresolved so close to a test match, but it never got that far and things have now been settled. But it's hard to shake that sense of deja vu. 3.5 years ago, we were here on this very lawn as players were once again threatening to strike over financial matters. The captain at the time, Ken Owens, was stood right there when he called Welsh rugby a laughing stock. And you have to wonder this evening, John, just how many of those lessons have really been learnt from that saga. But as it stands, the game against Fiji is on. Players are satisfied.
Okay, Matt Southcombe in the Vale of Glamorgan, thanks very much indeed. A reminder of our top story this evening, warnings tonight that more of us could be facing fuel poverty. That follows an increase in the UK government's energy price cap, which rose by 13% today. It means the average household bill could now be more than £1,800 a year. And still come tonight.
Coming up on the ITV News, 2 police officers called to the scene of Henry Novak's murder are under investigation by the police watchdog. England's knockout World Cup match against DR Congo will be live in Atlanta. And the tributes to Victor Willis, the lead singer of The Village People, who has died aged 74. Join me for those stories and more at 6:45.
Now, if you remember the joy of the toy shop window or rolling your Matchbox car along the kitchen table, there's a small museum in Montgomeryshire which is keeping a little bit of the past alive. The Cloverlands Museum has thousands and thousands of model cars, which started with one woman's personal collection. Well, we sent our very own Rob Shelley for a special visit.
Hiding behind a plume of smoke and steam in Llanfaircyfeinion, you'll find a little museum called Cloverlands. It's nowhere near any clover, but what it is a hymn to the miniature world of model cars. The small, the even smaller, and the really very small indeed. I think I prefer the scale model to the real thing. For a start off, they're much more manageable, much more affordable in this scale, aren't they, basically?
They certainly are, but they do need a lot of dusting, which is one of the things that keeps us going for as long as you like.
This is the collection of the late Gillian Rogers, girl racer who lived in Paris and loved things on 4 wheels.
Where does it all start? It starts in the 1950s, early 1950s, when Gillian was around 10, and she was on holiday in the Isle of Wight, and her dad bought her 2 Dinky toys, which are the 2...
So that is number 1 and number 2 of thousands. Friends who visited her old barn told her this collection should be in a museum. So now it is.
There are many very obscure names that flourish very briefly and then disappear.
Maltoy of Wrexham. It must be lovely when people come through the door, because this is memory. These are shelves full of memory, aren't they?
If I had £1 for every time someone said I had one of those as a child, I wouldn't need to do any fundraising.
But then who can forget that longing of wanting something in a toy shop window?
Older people come in and you hear them going round and you hear little ahs and oohs as they remember cars.
Sort of coos of memory. Even Barbie echoed Gillian and had her own sports car. It's any colour you want, as long as it's pink. And I am back to my inner 7-year-old, which is never that far away anyway. If this lot were all real size, you'd need a garage as big as Neath to hold it all. But as it is... We have found the miniest mini of all minis, which probably means I could film the entire Italian job in the palm of my hand. And because people visit and want to find a good home for the models they've been left, well, this is a collection that's ended up collecting other collections. This is like the ultimate kind of attic by proxy. You're holding other people's memories on Gillian's behalf.
Yes, yeah.
Sheltered away behind a steam train in Montgomeryshire, it's the great garage of memory. Rob Shelley, ITV News in Llanfair Cerenion.
Lovely. Well, it's always a good sign, weather-wise, if Ruth is out and about. And she's an old favourite tonight, Barry Island, Ruth.
Sunshine and Barry Island, John, you know me so well, the absolute best combination. Although, quite frankly, we could do with dialling down the wind at the moment and dialling up the temperatures. It's a bit parky here. If you're missing the heat wave, you're not alone, but I have a bit of good news. It's likely to be back next week. Good news for many, including the Sol Cinema in Swansea, thought to be the world's smallest cinema. It's run by solar panels, and they're about to auction off some rather special memorabilia to raise some much-needed cash. Dean Thomas-Welsh can explain more.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's smallest solar-powered movie experience. The box office is now open.
The Sol Cinema, the world's smallest solar-powered picture house, proving the big screen can come in all sizes. For the past 16 years, the micro movie theatre has been rolling out the red carpet, selling popcorn and playing independent movies.
What most people do is they go around the back working out, is it an optical illusion? Are we smuggling people out the back? Do we have a tunnel down below the cinema? We come up with all sorts of things, really. But people look at it like a TARDIS, really.
People are astonished. People absolutely love it, and I love it. I think it's just such a unique experience, and you don't get a lot of new performing arts, you know, in the festivals. Good evening, sir. 1 ticket to screen 4. Make your way down the red carpet.
Thank you. There you go.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, popcorn. That's wonderful. Thank you. Well, the Sol Cinema has toured all over the UK and Europe, but it isn't just run on solar power. It also needs critical funds, and that's why the owners have come up with some imaginative ways to raise money to ensure the credits keep rolling. Cheers. The cinema's owners have in their possession one of the earliest known autographs of one of Hollywood's most famous stars, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The signature of the Terminator and Commando star is up for sale to guarantee he's not the last action hero to play on this tiny screen.
Well, I collect memorabilia from films and cinema, and one of the things I had was a 1967 magazine which was signed by Arnold just after he won Mr. Universe. And I hadn't realised actually the value of this, really, because there's very few early autographs that he signed when he was 20.
From the world's tiniest solar-powered cinema to one of Hollywood's biggest names, this little picture house is hoping for a blockbuster ending to ensure it will be back. Dean Thomas-Welsh, ITV News in Swansea.
Yeah, Dean, my advice maybe don't give up the day job. Dodgy impressions there. Now then, the question is, will the heat wave be back? And the answer is, well, yes-ish. Some parts of Wales next week could see temperatures rising. Not everywhere, but of course, we've just come off the back of what was flaming June, and frankly, it was miserable. Officially, the second warmest June on record here in Wales. And of course, we notched up almost this time last week the warmest June night at 23.5 degrees at Butte Park in Cardiff. That is all a dim and distant memory, because at the moment the clouds behind me are gathering and there could be rain in the forecast for the next few hours. Here are the details.
Today's forecast: blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, it is quite windy. It's been quite a blustery day across much of Wales today. And as we head through this evening and into the overnight stretch, we're going to throw some rain into the mix too. Nothing particularly heavy, but niggly bits and pieces of rain. Again, the winds will remain quite strong, and actually we could see some low cloud, misty, murky conditions developing as well. On a positive though, the temperatures will stay at around 14 or 15, which is far more comfortable than it was this time last week. Pretty decent for sleeping as well. But it does mean it could be quite a gloomy start as we wake to tomorrow morning. But the showers will tend to disappear quite quickly. Any low cloud will fizzle out too. And on the whole, tomorrow is shaping up really rather nicely. As the day progresses, we'll see blue sky and sunshine showing its hand, and the temperatures will start to rise as well. So away from any coastal breezes, further inland we could see highs of 22 or 23 in Celsius. Fresher out towards the west, but wherever you are, we've still got very high levels of UV, so just be careful. If you are heading out and about through tomorrow evening and into the overnight stretch, remaining generally calm and quiet. We'll see clear skies. Could see a little bit of a frontal system clipping the north of the UK, but here in Wales we should escape that. But the winds will drop back, and that means actually we could see some pockets of mist and murk developing. So by the time most of us wake then to Friday morning, any of that early morning mist will disappear quite quickly, and it is looking like a beautiful end to the week. Blue sky for everyone, possibly turning a little bit hazy into Friday afternoon across northern areas, but nothing too troublesome. Certainly nothing that's going to put a dampener on your day, with highs of 23, 24. So there's temperatures starting to creep up, and they will continue to creep up as we head through into the coming weekends. I mentioned the possibility of heatwave conditions for some next week.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
Well, weed pollen is starting to fizzle out at the moment, but grass pollen is still getting right up our noses, with the showers having little effect, with generally moderate to high levels over the next couple of days. So John, what a difference a week makes, even a couple of days. This time last week, of course, we were absolutely melting. Tonight, I'm complaining that it's too cold and too windy. You just can't win with this weather, but we'll keep you posted on that possible heat wave nearer the time.
Ruth, thanks very much indeed. And that was Wales at 6 from all of us on the programme. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.